Hello students, today's topic is foodborne viruses. So, we know that viruses are very small infectious microorganisms which are composed of either DNA or RNA genome which is enclosed within a protein coat. So, viruses are small microorganisms which contains either DNA or RNA which are enclosed within a protein coat. And unlike the bacteria, viruses can only multiply inside living cells of other organisms. So, these viruses require a living host for their growth and multiplication. And many viruses show a high resistance to stresses like heat, drying, freezing, UV light, etc. and may survive for long period of time in food or the environment. And the majority of the viral infections are due to human contact. As we all know that viruses are very harmful pathogens to humans, and these viruses are very small compared to other microorganisms, and they contain either DNA or RNA genome which are enclosed within a protein coat. And unlike bacteria, viruses require a living host for their multiplication, and some of these viruses are highly resistant to heat, drying, freezing, UV light, etc. and they can survive for long period of time in food or the environment, and the majority of the viral infections are transmitted from the humans to human. Then, how are foodborne viruses spread? The origin of all foodborne viruses are the intestines of the humans and animals, and the foodborne viruses are often shed in figures or other body fluid. And as viruses do not replicate in food, foodborne transmission of the viruses occur mainly through the contamination of the food by infected food handlers due to their poor hygienic practices or contact of the food with animal waste, human sewage or the sewage polluted water, and also the consumption of the products of animal origin which are contaminated with the viruses. So next we are going to see how these foodborne viruses are spread. And normally the origin of all foodborne viruses are the intestine of the humans and the animals. Since these viruses can survive only in a living host, the origin of almost all foodborne viruses are the intestines of the humans and animals. And these foodborne viruses are usually shed in feces or other body fluids. And as these viruses cannot replicate in food, the foodborne transmission of the viruses occurs mainly through the either the contamination of the food by the infected food handlers due to their poor hygienic practices, or the contact of the food with animal waste, human sewage or the sewage polluted water, or the consumption of the products of animal origin which are contaminated with these viruses. Then coming to the foods which are associated with the viral foodborne illness, the main food associated with the viral foodborne illnesses are, first one is the shellfish. Examples are the oysters, mussels or the crustaceans and their products which are farmed or harvested in water near the human sewage outlet, or it may be the fruits or vegetables grown on land fertilized with the animal waste or irrigated with the contaminated water, or undercooked meats such as the pork. So, coming to the food associated with the viral foodborne illness, the main foods which are associated with the viral foodborne illness are, first one is the shellfish, example oysters, mussels, or there may be crustaceans and their products, or it may be fruits or vegetables which are grown on land which are fertilized with the animal waste or irrigated with the contaminated water, or it may be the undercooked meats such as pork. Then coming to how are these viruses in food detected? Usually the detection of the foodborne viruses is very difficult and requires a different approach to the detection of most of these viruses. And as viruses cannot be cultured in the laboratory like other microbes, their detection often requires molecular techniques with various steps to either to isolate or to extract, purify and identify these viruses. And the standardized methods for detecting viruses are not widely available, and it makes it difficult to set safety limits for the viruses in food. So the detection of the foodborne viruses is very difficult, and it requires a different approach for the detection of most of these viruses. And as these viruses cannot be cultured in the laboratory easily like other microorganisms, and their detection often requires molecular techniques with various tests to extract, purify and identify these viruses. And also the standardized methods for detecting viruses are not widely available nowadays, and it makes it very difficult to set safety limits for viruses in food. Then how can foodborne viral illness be prevented and controlled? The training and awareness in good hygiene practices like hand washing, washing and proper handling of fruits and vegetables, adequate storage of food in refrigerator and thorough cooking, and also employees suffering from illness should be restricted from the food service work, and using of clean water to irrigate crops, particularly the ready to eat crops, avoiding the use of animal manures on crops, particularly the ready-to-eat crops, and farming of shellfish in clean seawater protected from the sewage contamination. Then coming to the common viruses, first one is noroviruses. Noroviruses are a genetically diverse group of non-enveloped virus in the Calciviridae family. The 27 to 30 nanometer viral particles are symmetrically icosahedral, and the particles contain a single-stranded RNA, and the infection is mainly through the oral ingestion of the contaminated food or water, and the replication of these noroviruses occur in the small intestine, causing transient lesion of the intestinal mucosa with potential pathology of the peripheral tissue. So these noroviruses are a genetically diverse group of non-enveloped viruses belonging to the Calciviridae family, and they are of 27 to 30 nanometer viral particles and are symmetrically icosahedral, and the particles contains only a single-stranded RNA. And coming to the infection, the infection of these noroviruses is mainly through the oral ingestion of the contaminated food or water, and once they enter into the host, the replication occur in the small intestine of the host, causing transient lesions of the intestinal mucosa with a potential pathology of the peripheral tissues. And the disease is characterized by nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So the common symptoms are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. And a prolonged virus shedding of up to 8 weeks may occur in asymptomatic people and also in the immunosuppressed individuals. And headache and low-grade fever are also symptoms, and the primary route of transmission of this virus is from person to person or through the fecal, oral and vomit oral routes, and are indirectly through the food and water and environment. So the disease is characterized, or the symptoms are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea and abdominal pain, and the prolonged virus shedding of up to 8 weeks may occur in asymptomatic people and also in the immunosuppressed individuals. And headache and low grade fever are also symptoms, and the primary route of transmission of this virus is from person to person or through the fecal, oral and vomit oral routes, and also indirectly through the food, water and environment. The second one is the rotavirus. Rotaviruses are a group of non-enveloped viruses in the Rheoviridae family, consisting of 8 species, namely rotavirus A to rotavirus H. So, rotaviruses are a group of non-enveloped viruses in the Rheoviridae family, consisting of 8 species, that is the rotavirus A to rotavirus H. And this rotavirus A is endemic worldwide, causing approximately 80% of the rotavirus gastroenteritis in humans. So 80% of the gastroenteritis in humans is caused by the rotavirus A, and particularly are waterborne infection, and also rotavirus B and C also are also human pathogens. And The 70 nanometer viral particles are icosahedral, and the particles consist of a double-stranded RNA segment and are characterized by vomiting, watery diarrhea, and low-grade fever. The symptoms usually start about 1 to 2 days after the infection, and vomiting followed by 3 to 7 days of diarrhea. So, the second one is the rotavirus, and these rotaviruses are a group of non-enveloped viruses in the Rheoviridae family. So, rotavirus non-enveloped viruses belonging to the Rheoviridae family consist of 8 species, namely rotavirus A2, rotavirus H, and among them the rotavirus A is an endemic worldwide, and a reason of 80% of the rotavirus gastroenteritis in humans. On the other hand, rotavirus B and C are also human pathogens. These rotaviruses are about 70 nanometer viral particles and are icosahedral, and the particles consist of double-stranded RNA segments. Coming to the symptoms, they are characterized by vomiting, watery diarrhea, and low-grade fever, and the symptoms usually start 1 to 2 days after the infections, and the vomiting followed by 3 to 7 days of diarrhea. The third one is hepatitis A, and this hepatitis A virus is a part of the enterovirus group of the Picornaviridae family with the 6 forms, that is hepatitis A, B, C, D, E and G. And the hepatitis A virus has a single molecule of RNA which is surrounded by a 27 to 32 nanometer protein capsid, and the food can be contaminated with the virus through the contact with the raw sewage, such as in the case with the shellfish, or through the contact with the contaminated water. So the third one is the hepatitis A virus, and it is a part of the enterovirus group of the Picornaviridae family and consists of 6 forms, that is hepatitis A to G, and among them hepatitis A virus has a single molecule of RNA which is surrounded by a 27 to 32 nanometer protein capsid, and the foods can be contaminated with the virus through the contact with the raw sewage, such as in the case with the shellfish, or through the contact with the contaminated water. And this hepatitis A virus replicates exclusively in the liver cells of the host and is excreted in the bile and shed in the mucus of the infected people. And the symptoms include sudden onset of fever, nausea, joint pain, dark colored urine, pale stools, abdominal discomfort, followed in several days by jaundice with complete recovery within 2 months. And the illness is usually most severe in older person and the children under 6 years with noticeable symptoms. So, this hepatitis A virus replicate exclusively in the liver cells of the host and is excreted in the bile and also shed in feces of the infected people. The symptoms are fever, nausea, joint pain, dark colored urine, pale stools, abdominal discomfort, and is also followed by jaundice with a complete recovery within 2 months. And the illness is more severe in older persons and also in children under 6 years with noticeable symptoms. The fourth one is the hepatitis E virus, and this hepatitis E virus is a non-enveloped positive stranded RNA and are icosahedral shaped with a diameter of about 27 to 34 nanometer, and the virion is composed entirely of a viral protein and RNA, and from the intestinal tract of the host the virus reaches the liver, and they will replicate primarily in the liver and gallbladder cells and are also present in small intestine, lymph nodes, colon, and the salivary glands of the host. So, this hepatitis E virus is a non-enveloped positive stranded RNA and are icosahedral in shape with a diameter of about 27 to 34 nanometer and are composed of a viral protein and RNA. And in the case of host from the intestinal tract, the viral first reaches the liver and replicate primarily in the liver and the gallbladder cells and are also present in small intestine, lymph nodes, colon, and the salivary glands. And the incubation period following exposure will range from 3 to 8 weeks with a mean of about 6 weeks, and the disease usually is mild, asymptomatic, and self-resolves in 2 weeks, and the symptoms include jaundice, anorexia, enlarged tender liver, abdominal pain, vomiting, fever, etc. And chronic hepatitis has been reported in organ transplant recipients and in patients with active HIV infections, and extended fecal shedding occurs for approximately 2 weeks after the jaundice development. So coming to the incubation period, the incubation period following exposure will range from 3 to 8 weeks, but normally it is about 6 weeks, and the symptoms is jaundice, enlarged tender liver, anorexia, abdominal pain, vomiting, fever, etc. And a chronic hepatitis has been reported in organ transplant recipients and in patients with active HIV infections. And also the extended fecal shedding will occur for about 2 weeks after the jaundice development. And coming to the diagnosis of the foodborne viruses, the noroviruses is recognized in human stool specimens by the enzyme-linked immunosorbent assays and also commonly through the RT-PCR to detect and differentiate the noroviruses in vomit and stool, and also immune electron microscopy and antibody test can also be used for identification in serum. And rotavirus diagnosis may be made by rapid antigen detection of the rotavirus in stool specimens, and the strains may be further characterized by the reverse transcriptase polymerase reaction, that is the RT-PCR, and the electron microscopy and polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis are also used in some laboratories. So coming to the diagnosis of the norovirus, it is recognized in human stool specimens by ELISA test or through the RT-PCR, and immune electron microscopy and antibody tests can also be used to identify norovirus in serum. And rotavirus diagnosis may be made by the rapid antigen detection of the rotavirus in stool specimens, and the strains are further characterized by the reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction, and electron microscopy and phage are also used in some laboratories. And in case of hepatitis A is typically diagnosed by finding IgM class anti-HIV in serum, which is collected during the acute or early phase of the disease. And the hepatitis E is diagnosed by the immune electron microscopy of the fecus of the acutely ill patients, or by the molecular detection of the genomic RNA in serum or fecus. And some additional diagnostic tests are used are RT-PCR and immune electron microscopy. Coming to the good industry practices in order to prevent these foodborne viruses are, first one is the use of potable water for the irrigation and processing, use of shellfish from approved waters, active monitoring of the shellfish production areas, thorough cooking of shellfish prior to consumption, exclude symptomatic food handlers from the entire food business side, effective training in personal hygiene, destroying contaminated food, easy access to hand washing and sanitary facilities for all employees, discourage children from areas where food is harvested, handled or processed, correct disposal procedure for sanitary waste, potable water or chlorinated water should be used for rinsing products or for making ice for packing or consumption, development of a HACCP including the risk and control measures for foodborne viruses.